Hello, I'm Taylor Baldwin, and graduation season is here, and that means it is time to make some serious financial decisions about student loans. High school grads are looking at how to finance their higher education, and college grads will now have to face paying back their loans. Local financial professional Steve Sexton from Sexton Advisory Group is here with advice to make sure the debt doesn't bury our grads. Thank you for coming back, Steve.
Well, thank you.
All right, so there's talk that student debt is our country's next big financial crisis. Is this true?
Student debt's a real big deal. It's something we should be thinking about. It's currently $1.2 trillion and growing. In fact, 50% of college graduates in the state of California owe more than $20,000 in student debt.
So with this being said, what is your advice for these high school grads and
high school grads, college students?
Yeah.
The big thing is find ways to minimize that debt burden now. First one, stay in state. I mean, public state colleges are thousands of dollars less than outside private ones. Second thing, community colleges. Try them out. Why? Most parents are realizing you take the same classes that you can take at a community college for the first 2 years. You save in tuition, and besides that, kids stay at home, so you save in room and board. The third thing is work the web. Online enrollment in college classes is up 30%. In fact, 50% of parents are saying, you know what, I want my kids and I expect them to take college classes because it'll save me on tuition as well as commuting costs. Fourth thing, really big, seek out scholarships. You don't have to be a straight A student to get a scholarships. In fact, if you go to the Department of Education's website, they have help there. In fact, if you need that link, you can go to my website at sextonadvisorygroup.com. Now, the fifth one, focus on 4. That means 4 years. You know what? Extending your time in college can destroy a college budget, even by a semester, a year or more. So it's about taking a full load and passing those classes.
You know, my daughters don't even have an option. There's no 5-year program in my house. It's 4 years. Geez Louise, and you do save a lot of money with doing 2-year junior college.
Oh yes, it's a tremendous amount.
Okay, so what do the college grads need to be thinking about when it comes to repaying back those loans? I'm sure it feels like this big black cloud over their head.
Well, here's the big thing. College grads right now are going to be the most educated in history, but they're going to have the biggest debt, so they need to take it seriously, because the reality is bankruptcy won't take it away. In fact, the government will withhold Social Security payments to pay off college debt. So my advice to college students is, hey, when you get that first job, get a budget. Understand how much is coming in and how much is going out so you can make those payments. And if they need a worksheet, they can go to my website again at sextonadvisorygroup.com.
So what happens if they're struggling with paying those loans? Because like you said, you can't file bankruptcy and get that cleared. That's debt forever.
This is really big. You need to talk to the lender. There are alternative repayment programs based off your income. There's also debt forgiveness, but there's terms that are depending on whether you work for a public or private company. The big thing here is this. If you're not making your payments regularly and on time, none of those debt forgivenesses will work for you, so you got to take the debt seriously and not ignore it. Well,
let me ask you, how does the skyrocketing student debt affect our economy as a whole?
Okay.
Break that down.
The reality is we count on our young people to go out and get jobs and contribute to the economy. That means buying cars, set up households. However, most recent grads are underemployed and spending most of their money on paying back that student loan debt. And you know, when you take a look at that household creations, it's less than 50% of where it was prior to the recession, and it's primarily because of student debt. And this is a big thing. It's going to suck down the economy unless people really focus on paying that debt.
And it's really sad because places like San Diego, where the cost of living is so high, you know, how do they make it? They have to leave the state with our taxes and our cities. It just
yeah, you know, and in some cases in the state of California, you know, not to take people out of California, but it might be less expensive to actually go look at Oregon or some other state that have lower costs.
Well, back to that point that you made about finding the money, the scholarships. There is so much money out there, free money. It just takes being resourceful, going to your website and getting it, right?
Okay. Oh yeah.
And not having the blindfolds on you. I was able to put myself through university as a mother with most of it paid for.
Okay,
so.
Here's the big thing. There's a tremendous amount of grants that go ungiven each and every year. They might be because you played Little League in 8th grade. They might be because you were in the band. And I know 3 people right now that left college with a grant balance. In fact, one of them bought a Camaro when he left because of that grant money.
Yeah.
He spent every single week looking for another grant. Might be 500, might be 1,000, might be 200, whatever. He just kept building it into his account. But the thing is, it's his money when she's done with college.
I got to tell you, I had grant money too, and I was able, when I graduated from college, to use that grant money to pay for 3 months of overhead, my bills and rent, so I could work for free to prove to the owner of the company that I deserve that job.
And you know what? It's all how you want to set up the opportunity
right.
for yourself. The big thing is, you know what? Think now, not only what's happening right now, but down the road to prepare for things like that. You were very smart in doing that.
Yep, well, resourceful. Thank you so much. Great tips, really great tips. And I really hope you guys share these tips. It's really news you can use, really.
Thanks, Taylor.
If you want more financial advice, be sure to log on to Steve's website, sextonadvisorygroup.com.